Alright, welcome everybody. I'm So Many Robots, joined by Vic. This is Dota Battles Season 1, Week 5. Planet Hype versus Happy Men. Vic, are you with me?
Radiant's
Alright,
banned.
sounds like Vic might be having some
Dire's
connection
banned.
issues, but I can hear him. Hopefully he can hear me.
No, yeah, I can hear you. I was just messing with you. Lycan first ban is really interesting. Lycan was played earlier today in D2CL, I think.
Yeah, I was
Could
watching
be wrong. I watched a bunch of games. Yeah.
I was watching the Cena Cup finals over the weekend, and Vici Gaming, one of the Chinese teams, has started first picking
Radiant's
Lycan
banned.
every game they have.
He's a really good hero. Lycan forces you to play objective-based
Dire's
Dota
banned.
since he's so excellent at getting objectives like Roche and like towers. So I really like him as a hero, but he definitely requires a different mindset than other carries in a lot of cases.
Dire's
Nyx
banned.
and Clockwork, two extremely strong gankers being banned out. Those are the kind of heroes that are really good at hunting things like Nature's Prophet.
Radiant's
I'm
banned.
excited to
Happy
see.
Men pick a Wraith King.
We've got very different strategies in the bans coming out that I still want to go back to. Happy Men banning out two offlaners here, clearly thinking about roles with what's available in the pool, while Planet Hype, which got wrecked by a push lineup last game, immediately banned the Lycan, the Pugna, and then block pick this Shadow Shaman first pick.
Yeah, definitely. And if there's one thing that stops a push, it's Serpent Wards. Well, yeah, Serpent Wards, and then there's Naga Song,
Radiant's
and then
banned.
Tinker, March are the three things in this draft that can just absolutely obliterate a push.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what else is gonna come out. Wraith King and Ancient Apparition is a nice combo. That Wraith Fire Blast, is a great stun for getting off cold feet procs.
Hello?
I'm still here, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I think I'm lagging out a little bit.
I think so, yeah.
So if we look at the hero pool, there isn't anyone with any significant kind of healing ability. Well, against people with healing abilities.
Yeah, so that Slardar comes out, which looks like that's going to be position 1 Slardar for Planet Hype.
Yeah, Slardar's a really great ganking hero. I'd love to see how he works against Wraith King, because I think Slardar and Storm Spirit, more Slardar actually than Storm Spirit, is going to be weak against the Wraith King, because the 50% slow when he dies and then reincarnates is really good at cleaning up team fights if you're able to get him in that kind of
Dire's
situation.
pick.
And I'm not at all surprised to see Happy Men going for that Tinker, seeing how much success they had with hard pushing heroes last game. And I can really see them, just with their sort of map control
Radiant's
focused
pick.
style, having a lot of fun with that Tinker in a mid lane position.
Actually, I kind of have to disagree about the role Tinker has there. I don't think he's a hard pusher. If you look at him compared to a lot of other heroes, he doesn't do any tower damage. So I think Tinker is much more of a super late game carry and a really good anti-pusher and a great laner.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. It looks like it's going to be a Storm Spirit up against that Tinker, and I don't actually remember much how Storm Spirit and Tinker matchups go.
10
Storm
seconds
Spirit's
to
a
go.
pretty squishy hero, so he's vulnerable to Tinker's nukes. But
5
Storm
seconds.
Spirit's capable of dishing out damage himself, especially against a sort of low maneuverability hero, as a Tinker is.
Yeah,
Dire's pick.
I don't think Storm Spirit actually is going to do that well against Tinker mid. Tinker has better attack. Wow, and Happy Men Naga Siren.
Yeah, so that's Jack on the Naga Siren, which says to me that that's going to be a farming role, so I'm curious how they're going to lane this, if this is just going to be a 2-1-2 setup here.
Yeah, this is going to be a... these are really high impact heroes in team fights, Naga Siren and Tidehunter. So it'll be really interesting to see how it breaks down. Obviously, Song and Bane's Nightmare are really good against Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to see that last pick Spirit Breaker coming out, and I'm really curious about Planet Hype's lanes too, if this is going to be... presumably that's a one-position Slardar and an off-lane Spirit Breaker, or maybe an off-lane Tidehunter?
Yeah, I think the Spirit Breaker or the Tidehunter could offlane here. Let's see, whoever gets a Stout Shield, I'm guessing offlane. Unless Storm Spirit does somehow.
Better get ready.
I think 1314 was their offlane hero last game, so it looks like he's going to take that Spirit Breaker over to the offlane this game. And speaking of, let's get started going over our lineups here. I'll get started with the Radiant since I already have. We've got 1314 taking that Spirit Breaker into the offlane. Rabbit on the Slardar following him up top for now, but I would assume... You know, actually this might be... Well, no, so we're going to have to see what these heroes do as they start getting into lane. I'm not certain how these lanes are going to work out. Lord Wildman is taking the Storm Spirit. He's definitely in the mid lane. A-Slide is going to be playing that Shadow Shaman, and last but not least, we've got Azure on the Tidehunter spamming out that Anchor Smash, showing his S-button skills. Vic, would you like to get started on the Dire Force?
Movements from the Radiant team, but we'll start with the captain on Dire team, Team Happy Men. Captain Jack up top, the Naga Siren. Moving on to the mid lane, we have JT on Tinker. And then going bottom, we have our core on the Wraith King, Fappy. Support, Ancient Apparition, Chaos, and the other support is going to be Catterday Yet on Bane.
And they're off.
And they'll be scouting out this bottom rune as they also warded up. A double damage, which could turn into a kill, especially if it goes to a ranged hero, in my opinion.
No more bets, please.
And, you know, I'm going to take back what I said when I was talking about dual lanes during the draft. I was forgetting that this is Happy Men we're seeing. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's Planet Hype that I was talking about dual lanes for, but it looks like they're going to go aggro try with a support Spirit Breaker. And give a safe lane solo to this Tidehunter, which is probably going to backfire on them since we've got an aggro try now coming out from Happy Man again. And immediately Wraithfire Blast comes out, Chilling Touch, and that's a very fast kill for that Tidehunter.
Yeah, he didn't even have time to get Kraken Shell. This double damage does a lot of damage at level 1. It's devastating. His Naga Siren up top doesn't seem to be doing all that much better, although dying is pretty much way worse.
I've got to say,
staying alive and getting nothing.
With a double damage rune and a Chilling Touch, I'm pretty sure that there is no conceivable way that Tidehunter could have survived there.
Oh yeah, other than tower hugging, I don't think so. Wraithfire Blast has a decent range too, so it's pretty dangerous for this Tidehunter to just be alive and there.
Yeah, we can see Azure's going to try to sit underneath the tower and soak what he can, but this is going to be an extremely hard lane for him to try and get any farm out of. Fortunately, that's not really your goal with an off-lane Tidehunter. If he can manage to stay there and soak his XP, that's really going to be accomplishing his objectives.
Right, and the key really this game is going to be these early Spirit Breaker ganks transitioning into team fight kills with the Shadow Shaman and the Tidehunter. Right now, I actually do think that Happy Men have the advantage. Unless, during the mid-game, Planet Hype is able to use all of their abilities to take it back. They're going to have to do it really well because there's so much counter-initiation on the Dire team. They just have the ability to deal with a lot of different things.
Yeah, despite giving up that first blood by Planet Hype, we can see they're really... oh, and we can already see an initiation on the Naga Siren. Spirit Breaker charges, Crush comes out, the Ether Shock already blown. There aren't any more Disables coming out, Acelat's completely out of mana. Rabbit's going to try to dive this, but we've got a TP coming out from the Ancient Apparition, and Rabbit's going to be very, very low. And goes down to the tower, Ancient Apparition gets credit for it.
Yeah, that was a great TP. And they definitely underestimated the early armor and stout shield from the Naga Siren. Naga Siren starts with 7 armor. So while 600 HP might not seem like a lot, she actually is pretty tanky. Nowhere close to as tanky as Spirit Breaker, but pretty tanky.
Yeah, that high starting armor just works wonders against all of the physical damage coming out from Planet Hype's lineup with the Spirit Breaker and the Slardar.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of times you do see Slardar in a role that gets him more XP and more money. Because his damage output is really bad as a support. And amplified damage, if you're a support, is mostly good as a kind of track to go through invisibility. I mean, the damage is always nice. When they sheep up on Naga again, Naga gets charged top.
This is looking a lot better for the Radiant this time around. Oh, nice dodge from Jack, popping the illusions to confuse them a little bit more, and they're still going to have to dive really far to get this. Courier comes into a very dangerous position,
Oh, no.
And great play from Jack, just using his illusions to block them out from chasing him into the trees.
Yeah, that was a brilliant play by Jack, and then uses the courier to regen with bottle, and now he's just gonna bottle crow. This is great play from this Naga Siren. I think if this keeps up for the rest of the game, the Radiant team doesn't stand a chance. This Naga is one of those heroes that is extremely hard to gank, regardless of what you have. Storm Spirit, Slardar, I don't see a way for it to happen. Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, and Radiant's really kind of missed their window on this. Naga Siren is getting very close to 6, at which point she'll have that Song of the Siren up to get herself out of trouble next time they go.
Yeah, and look how low she has a Shadow Shaman. Just 2 more Riptides, and he's dead.
Meanwhile, we see
Maybe
Ancient
even 1 if she can.
Ancient Apparition has made his way back over to bottom lane and is hiding in the trees. Azure has taken very little damage. He's really been hugging his tower very tightly over here.
Well, he's been getting what he needs out of this lane. I mean, boots. He has money for boots, and he has experience, and that's all you need is Tidehunter.
Yeah, we can see those big level 6s coming out. Storm Spirit's already got his. Naga's very, very close to hers. Tide is also very close. And Tinker's up to 1,000 gold, so he's a little under halfway to his boots of travel, at which point he'll really start making his presence felt.
And we do see 1314 being a little sneaky up top.
But that Radiant Ward is right there, perfectly spotting him out, and Jack makes sure that 1314 knows it.
Yeah, it was actually the courier that spotted him out. I think.
Acelat blows the
The
Hex.
Ancient Apparition pinged him.
Acelat blows the Hex, but no follow-up available, and he's just going to retreat back to lane.
Yeah, it's just the tankiness of this Naga Siren. Yeah, 1 creep away, there it is, level 6, that's a song. This Naga Siren's basically impossible to kill at this point in the game.
Yeah, one thing I'm a little concerned with for Happy Men's lineup is, especially if this Naga goes, oh, they're going to try. Hex comes out, no, Bash comes out from the Slardar, Slitherine, Crush, Charge from the Spirit Breaker, Acelat doesn't have mana, and there we go, pops the song, and Jack's going to walk away just fine.
Yep, and he gets the TP. And bottle, and salve. This Naga Siren's fine. What a hero.
You can see
Storm Spirit goes for the gank bottom.
Yeah, Storm Spirit is rotated bottom, but the Dire Ward spots him out, and he's just gonna slink back to mid lane without accomplishing anything.
Yeah, and Radiant lane pushed at the same time is really unfortunate. This does free up a lot of free farm for this Tinker. It's going to be closer to those BOTs, but he is getting charged by Spirit Breaker.
Spirit Breaker.
Follow up there. Spirit Breaker cancels.
Yeah, I'm really curious what's going to start happening as these lanes break down. We can see Tinker's still working on his bots. Still long time till those get up. Naga's saving up money, but I'm not certain if that is in fact going to be a Radiance build Jack goes for.
I hope it's a Radiance, but if there's any sort of early pressure...
Yeah, what I was starting to say before was one of the few things that I'm really concerned with about Happy Men's lineup is particularly if Jack goes Radiance Naga. Radiance Naga and Tinker are two heroes who are really capable of just sucking all the farm off the map. So it's entirely possible they would hold that thought with getting engagement bottom. Bane goes down to the Storm Spirit and he's still getting aggressive, goes in, breaks the salve on Fappy, and that's what he's going to settle for.
Yeah, that's the key to victory for this Radiant team. They need to just start getting ganked, start using this Slardar that they picked, and start to put pressure on where the Dire team can farm.
We can see...
Tinker's hiding out. Storm Spirit's gonna spot him bottom. That's a double damage rune on Tinker. That's really dangerous.
Yeah, Storm Spirit's got plenty of mana to jump away though. Now Slardar is going to come in, drop a crush, and then just run off.
Wow, they're basically just toying with this Tinker right now. He has a double damage rune, and he is getting no respect.
See a lot of pings coming out from Nagasiren, probably telling his teammates to get out of the jungle.
This Tinker almost even stacked for the Radiant team.
We can see this Tinker's gone for a 4-4-0 build so far, no points up in March yet.
That's a really unpopular build unless you're stomping the other team.
Have fun trying to bust
So
down
it'll be
Radiant
interesting to
structures
see.
now.
He should be going for early kills if that's what he's going to do
Trouble
with his
brewing
skill
at
point.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Yeah, I feel like he's gone for a very aggressive build here and hasn't really taken advantage of it so far. But that said, he's also still got 800 gold to go before he gets those bots, so he's got a little time. Meanwhile, we can see Tidehunter gets trapped in the trees. A lot of damage coming out on him. Rabbit comes in, gets a big 3-man crush off, finishes off the Bane, goes to work on Chaos and Fappy, but that's a 3-on-2. Rabbit's going very, very low, and Azure can't really do anything to help him with. That's going to be 2 heroes for the price of 1.
Yep, that was exactly what this Tinker needed. That gives him his Boots of Travels right on time with decent CS.
Radiant's
So this
mid
Dire
tower
team
could
is
use a
taking a
hand.
huge advantage going into the mid game. They have a much higher CS on all 3 of their cores than any of the cores on the Radiant team. And the
Radiant's
Radiant
mid
team
tower's
also
coming
hasn't been able to gank at will.
Yeah, with that strong ganker in the Storm Spirit, I was really expecting a lot more action in the laning phase than we saw. But with the 2 3-on-1 lane setups, it was really just very surprisingly quiet. And we can see there's a charge up on Catterday, Spirit Breaker running him, but I think he's going to cancel before he gets to lane. There's no backup anywhere nearby. Or maybe not. There we go, there's the cancel of the tower.
Tower won't last much longer.
Alright, sounds like Vic might be having some audio problems. Either that or he's playing with me again.
Yeah, no, I was playing with my mic without knowing it. There's an off button. Anyways, the biggest problem is the Spirit Breaker's the tankiest hero at level 1. And he has pretty good last hit damage. He has a really nice stun at level 2. And they weren't able to use him at all. I really don't agree with this idea of sending your tri-lane for 10 full minutes to one lane and then not getting anything out of it and keeping the supports there to suffer.
Yeah, about the only thing...
I really want to see some charges.
About the only thing that made Planet Hype's decision to run the aggro tri-lane work out was the fact that Happy Man also ran an aggro tri that didn't manage to get very many kills despite that first blood. Oh, and we can see engagement up on top.
Yeah.
Nightmare on 1-3-1-4. Net out on Ace Light. Tinker blows both of his nukes. Ancient Apparition Roll comes in, pops the Shadow Shaman. 1-3-1-4 is going to get away, and we have a Fiend's Grip up on Azure, who's going to be able to pop the Ravage. 1 through and 4 charges back in. Great crush coming out from Rabbit. Bane goes down. Slardar sprinted up, chasing down BZ Chaos. Gonna see what he can do. Gets another crush, doing a lot of damage. Spirit Breaker ultimate gets the kill. Net out on Rabbit. Jack's now getting very, very low. 1 through and 4 is also low on health himself. Rabbit's still running around, doesn't have any mana left. And Storm Spirit jumps in right as that amp damage comes out on Jack. Lord Wildman blows all of his mana. Is it going to be enough? We've got a TP coming in from the Bane. A Slardar follows him down. Nightmare into Slardar. Lord Wildman now is very low. Looks like he's probably going to go down to the Tinker. Maybe the Creep Wave. Rabbit gets enfeebled up by Bane. Lord Wildman limping away. Doesn't have a TP, but he's desperately hoping to get enough mana to make his way out of these trees.
Dire's top towers.
And that's the death of the Storm Spirit. 1 3 1 4 charges back in, gets the Tinker in the trees, and gets himself stuck in the trees. Oh no!
The Dire's bottom tower.
Oh, there goes the TP. Slardar is incoming.
Amp damage comes out, lots of damage coming out on this Bane, but it's not quite enough, and we've got another double TP. Naga and Ancient Apparition coming in. Spirit Breaker just barely charges away onto the lane. Is the Radiant going to manage to retreat out? I think so. Naga's chasing him down, has mana for a net, but can't quite get in range, and looks like she's going to give up.
Yeah, it was unbelievably close, but a really great escape from the Spirit Breaker. And I think an awesome fight for the Radiant team. If they can make this game turn into a game of fighting rather than a game of farming and map control, I think they actually have this one.
Yeah,
So I commend Radiant for going for that.
Definitely with the Naga, who looks like she's definitely going Radiance at this point, and the Tinker, trying to play the sort of passive farming lane control oriented game is really not going to work in Radiant's favor, and we can see 1 3 1 4 charging over towards the mid lane, gets spotted out by the Ancient Apparition ult, but Tinker's not going to notice. Ult comes out, Storm Spirit jumps in, JT's going very low, dies to Lord Wildman, who's going to get the double damage rune after it just to top it off.
Yeah, it's a great rune for Storm Spirit. Let's see if he can make anything of it. If they have any side of this Naga Siren, this could be real trouble. This is the shortest jump of his life. Oh man.
No, but he's going to spot out the Ancient Apparition. Gets the damage. Blue and Overload. Uses the last of his mana getting off the Remnant, and there down goes the Ancient Apparition. Great work done by Lord Wildman.
Oh yeah, that's what Radiant needs to stay in this game. He should probably also plop down a static Remnant if he can. Slow this push that's coming. Fappy, although, has a great amount of farm. Like, actually a lot of farm. He's the most farmed hero on the map.
Yeah, Fappy's already
By
got
a good bit.
Already got that armlet up. Got the Sangha in his inventory, which might be going to a Song and Yasha. Might also be going towards a Heaven's Halberd, if that's the direction he chooses to go. Halberd, a great item up against both Storm Spirit and Slardar. Blows the Wraithfire Blast on A-Slide. He's going to eat the Brain Sap, hexes up Fappy, but the Ancient Apparition comes in and finishes the job. Nice Ancient Apparition ults coming out from BZ Chaos.
His ults have been on point. So those are really great to watch. His predictions also been really good so far. Looks like Dire just have their number.
Wraithfire Blast.
Out on this.
Lord Wildman takes a lot of damage, just gonna limp away. Rabbit comes in, gets the crush, amp damage up on Fappy, but he's taking nowhere near enough damage, and he's still got that second life in reserve. Spirit Breaker is charging out. Is he gonna get greedy and try to tower dive this?
He might, just on the Naga Siren back.
And now we can see 4 heroes up for both teams in the mid lane.
And the Shadow Shaman really needs his level 6.
Storm pops a haste rune. Looks like he's going to go hunting off towards top. Not going to find anything there as both teams get ready. Tinker starts dropping some marches down. Pushing out that lane a little bit, setting up for that Radiant Tier 1 tower.
Yeah, and it might not seem like it, but this Shadow Shaman not having level 6 is huge right here. He might die before he gets it. Oh no, the Ancient Apparition is just off. Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, took too much damage from the march, and Jack came in and just barely got the edge of the Riptide. Riptide is one of those spells that has a deceptively large AoE. People really tend to underestimate that. And Jack's already got his Sacred Relic up, so he's only about
The
500
Dire
gold away
best
from
do
that Radiance.
something about that bottom tower.
Yeah, and like I was saying, not having level 6 on a Shadow Shaman is absolutely gigantic, because that literally is a tower with one ultimate. So I think that's really holding them back here, and that's just remnants from the laning stage.
Yeah, the Shadow Shaman...
Tinker's hitting very hard.
Shadow Shaman hasn't had anywhere to get farm, and we can see now Radiance going on Fappy, gonna try to bring down that big Wraith King. Spirit Breaker charges up. Gush comes out from the Tidehunter, 1-3-1-4, doesn't get stuck in the trees this time, pops his Mask of Madness, amp damage comes out, big AA ult comes in. Wraith King goes down the first time, and looks like Radiant's gonna back out rather than stay to finish the job, as Fappy's got backup coming in from the side, but 4-on-3 here. Ace Light comes in, gets the Hex off, throws in a little bit more. Jack comes in, pops the Riptide, doesn't catch anything. 1-3-1-4 taking a lot of damage, gets the
Radiant's
net, and the
mid-tower's
Cold Feet,
coming
that's going to be the
apart.
death of the Spirit Breaker.
Going for broke.
Wildman trying to hide in the trees, Rabbit and Azir limping away. Wildman jumps himself deeper into the trees, but
Radiant's
doesn't
mid-tower
have a
could use a
TP
hand.
scroll again.
My spirit sinks.
Yeah, that looked like one of those fights where they actually forgot that they were ganking a Wraith King.
Yeah, and I've got to say,
I
oh,
don't...
hold that thought. We've got an no engagement happening on mid. We see Tinker cancels his TP. Just gonna say, I've been really impressed with Lord Wildman's play, except for the fact that he keeps not having a TP as they go in for these kills, and he's finding himself
Radiant
stuck in the trees
disown
with
their
no way home.
mid-tower.
Weak sorcery.
great gank mid, actually.
Radiant's top tower's hurting.
Yeah,
Surprised they got the kill there.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but nice work picking off the Bane and also getting a deny on that tower. Denying
Radiant's
that
top
tower gold is
tower's
really going to
taking
make a big
hits.
difference.
Yeah, and that's Naga's Radiance. They're closing in on a 10,000 gold lead now, so the Radiant need to pick it up, I think, to get back in this game. You see 4 of them just hanging out in this jungle area. They need to go and gank. They need to smoke gank. They need to use Spirit Breaker, put up some really aggressive wards, and get some kills with this Slardar too.
Yeah,
Otherwise, they're just kind of sitting ducks.
I have to agree, Radiant's positioning is really feeling like a scared team to me, and I think Smoke Gank is exactly what they need to try to get themselves back in this. Meanwhile, we can see Fappy and BZ Chaos going in for an uncontested Roshan, as Radiant doesn't have any map vision up in the area.
Oh yeah, this is disastrous for them. And if Fappy does get the Heaven's Halberd, I think this is an amazing item. It completely destroys the Radiant team. And he's ahead by a lot of gold. Plus, yeah, the Naga Siren and the Skeleton King, or the Wraith King, they're ahead by 4,000 gold each.
Yeah, that Heaven's Halberd is a really great pickup against a Slardar, and we can see the Slardar has a Vanguard and 1,200 gold in the bank, so he's very far away from a BKB if that is in fact what he wants.
Yeah, if you look at the heroes right now, that extra gold means that they literally have another item. Like, they're a full item ahead of the other team. And that kind of gap is really hard to close, especially something like Heaven's Halberd and Armlet, which are really defensive items that just make him harder to kill. This is opposed to, like, say he had a Desolator, he could still get ganked, you know, he could still get sheeped up and killed. But when you have a bunch of tanky items that give you a lot of health, you're making it really hard for the other team to come back in any way.
And as you're talking about defensive items, we can see JT on that Tinker opts for a Dagon as his first item after the Boots of Travel. Not at all going for a defensive build on this Tinker.
Yeah, I mean, that's not surprising at all. Tinker's a much different hero. Storm Spirit is fighting the Naga Siren. Jack is in a really, really aggressive position, but he just sings out of it.
And we can see that's a
Takes the
level
warrior with him.
11 Naga, so he's already got that Song of the Siren cooldown down to 2 minutes. So not a huge expenditure having to blow that to get away.
Yeah, that's easily worth your life every 2 minutes. And the remaining heroes just smoke up and run right back into the jungle with a double damage rune. This could be really disastrous for the Radiant team. They also have the chilling touch on them. It's just going to be an immense amount of damage. Each one's going to be hitting.
And they're going to run right into 1-3-1-4, who eats a Wraithfire Blast and an immediate 900 damage crit coming out from Fappy.
Spirit bows to me.
Yeah, that was a little bit of damage. 22 minutes in the game.
Just a little bit.
No biggie. Yeah. Double damage is an okay rune. Just okay.
There might be a reason why in the late game it gets called the rune of win the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's worth... double damage gives you as much damage as an item you pay 6,000 gold for. So it's probably pretty useful in those situations.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Right, and we can see Happy Men have 4 heroes grouping up on this tier 2. Azur's showing up ready to ravage. Spirit Breaker starts charging in over the top. Azur gets nightmared but wakes up due to Kraken Show, does a lot of damage to Catterday, goes down to the AA. Catterday just limps away. Storm Spirit comes in trying to pick off that Bane. Great Fiend's Grip coming out from Catterday, saving his own life. Storm Spirit goes down. Rabbit, meanwhile, tries to go in 1-3-1-4, trying to get aggressive. Amp damage is up on Fappy, but not enough damage. Spirit Breaker goes down, and Slardar just limps away. A 3 for nothing.
Yeah, that's the Heaven's Halberd in effect.
Bad shape.
The 25% evasion is actually gigantic, especially when you have 2300 life,
Radiant's top
because
tower
it means that
one less top
you're
tower
taking
for
those
Radiant.
many more auto attacks, you know? So like the more auto attacks you take, the more
Radiant's
damage
mid-tower's
you're
getting banged
evading.
up.
It's a pretty great item in this situation, especially when the other team's main source of damage is just right clicks from Spirit Breaker and Slardar with amplified damage.
You can see Wraithfire
They stun
Blast
again.
up on Rabbit. AO comes in, lands, but Rabbit's going to be able to get away from that. Meanwhile, Fappy is playing very aggressive. Amp damage up on him, but he's got 3 lives. 1-3-1-4 comes charging in, trying to finish off the Bane they didn't get last time. Storm Spirit and Spirit Breaker going to work on BZ Chaos, going to bring him down. Fappy runs back in, blows that... Reincarnation's already down, actually. Blows the Aegis, surrounded by 4. I don't think he's getting out of this one. Shackle comes out, amp damage. Serpent Wards are blown. That's really spending a lot to bring down this Wraith King.
Yeah, but look at where they took that fight.
Radiant's bottom tower's seen better days.
They're on their own side of the map right now. Every single lane is pushed, so even though they win a really great team fight, they are still going to have a really hard time making anything of it.
Yeah, it's possible they're going to be able to get this tier 1. Wraith King should still be down, but I think it looks like they're not even going to try for it.
No, with the split push coming out from Tinker and Naga, and Serpent Wards were used in their own T2, it's really hard to push, and I think this Shadow Shaman's going to die from the Ancient Apparition ult. This gets hit mid, yeah, he goes down. His
Radiant's
Tidehunter
top
goes kind of
tower's
close
taking
too.
hits.
Oh, he has Kraken Shell.
Yeah, and we can see Ancient
Charge
Apparition.
comes out on Naga.
Ancient Apparition is over halfway to that
Radiant's
Aghanim
mid-tower's coming
Scepter.
apart.
Which I think the general consensus is that Ancient Apparition's Ags is one of the best Ags upgrades in the game.
I wouldn't go that far, because there's a lot of Ags upgrades that make it kind of necessary for that hero. But I think Ancient Apparitions is the tier right below
Radiant's
that.
mid-tower's coming apart.
Like, you don't have to get it, but it's almost always a good item to get on him.
Yeah, one of the few supports where you can really prioritize getting up that Ags the way Chaos is.
Yeah, definitely. Another one you saw that on would maybe be Lich when they first upgraded his, sometimes. And more commonly, like a Venomancer too.
Yeah, Vena's definitely in that tier. Meanwhile, we're gonna see Jack not even getting aggressive on that Tidehunter, just trying to do what he did. I'm sorry, I just missed a kill. Lord Wildman picked off that Tinker solo down on bottom lane.
Yeah, Tinker got completely blown up. Looks like they want to get aggressive on the Wraith King here, but Wraith King's still really tanky and has that second life, so I don't know if this is a great idea.
Amp damage comes up.
Madness now.
Rabbit blinks, crushes, Spear Breaker comes down, Serpent Wards go down again. Really controlling the fight. Chaos gets bashed back into the wards. Looks like Dire's going to make it away after that one with just the AA loss. I think that's the first time I've ever seen somebody besides Shadow Shaman pull off a ward trap.
I'm over here.
And Jack goes down on
That
bottom
was
lane.
impressive. Yeah, some more great kills from the Radiant team, just showing some spunk.
Radiant's top tower's hurting.
Meanwhile,
The
they're
top tower is getting pushed in really hard.
yeah, they just, even though they can get these kills, they can't
Radiant's
do
top
anything about
tower's
all
in
the
bad
split push
shape.
coming out from the Naga and the Tinker.
Yeah, and Dire won the real victory here. They got their ward.
You can see it looked like some accidental chat coming out from Jack there. Looks like while we've got a moment, let's recap the item choices. Storm Spirit finally got his Orchid up. We get that Blink Dagger that Slardar showed off in that last fight. Spirit Breaker looks like he's working towards maybe a BKB, maybe an Axe. Oh, meanwhile over on bottom lane,
BKB.
Storm Spirit goes on Tinker again, picks him off. Tinker's really getting caught out by Lord Wildman here.
It's just excellent work by the Storm Spirit. And Shadow Shaman's gonna try and ward, but he's definitely sacrificing his life for this.
Yeah, far too aggressive trying to get that ward off, and he's going to go down very easily.
Bottom tower's been disowned.
The messenger, you're mine.
And at the same time, they have to deny a tier 2. And they get
Radiant's
shoved
top
back in
tower's
base again.
hurting.
So even though they're able to get a ward and a potential D-ward off, their map control is completely different from what their wards would tell you.
Yeah, taking a look at the map vision, we can see Dire has very large, very aggressive wards coming out. Complete control of the Radiant jungle. While Radiant is really struggling to maintain any room outside their base. And Shadow Shaman got that ward and immediately dewarded since Dire knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh yeah, that was not a sneaky ward spot at all either. It was pretty easy to get that D-ward off. Generally, if you want to be sneakier, you can ward closer to your own mid, like over here, or you can just kind of try and get some high ground stuff.
A lot of people
top.
like to use this ward spot, but you're right, going over the top, Spirit Breaker lands on Jack. They might actually be able to get this, and they do. Jack doesn't even have time to pop off the song.
No, the silence was long enough. Because the Orchids finished on the Spirit Breaker, or the Storm Spirit. Otherwise, that would have actually just been a song and a TP. So that was a really great move.
Yeah, again, I'm really consistently impressed. Lord Wildman is putting up a great game here.
Radiant's
Finally,
top
you
tower's
can see
in
he's
bad
got a
shape.
TP this time, so hopefully he won't get stuck in the trees again.
And he's doing really well with his build. Low engagement goes on the Tidehunter, and he gets blown up by the AAL. I think that's just it.
Yeah, I can't see Radiant having any response to that. Dire's grouped up as 4 on the mid lane. Looks like they're going to try to force down this tier 2, which is already very low.
Yep. And yeah, going back to the Ancient Apparition Ultimate, that does 1,000 damage without the base regen rate at level 3, I think with Ags, so. Huge jump bottom. This Tinker just gets completely blown up by Lord Wildman. It's really great Storm Spirit play. I mean, he's 9, 3, and 4 right now. Basically the only saving grace for the Radiant team, in my opinion.
Yeah, meanwhile we see Dire goes in for another Roshan. Radiant doesn't have any vision up. Lanes are completely pushed in. I don't think they could challenge this even if they knew about it.
Yeah, and with this, that's gonna be a BKB, Armlet, Halberd, Aegis, Skeleton King. He is going to actually just be, or Wraith King, sorry, he's actually just gonna be impossible to kill though.
Roche won't be stomping around no more.
Meanwhile,
I think the Radiant
Naga's...
team know it, They're
Naga's
taking 3 lives.
got her Manta up, and her illusions are going to take this tier 2 mid. A nice job by Wildman getting the deny at least.
Another Ancient Apparition ult actually hits 4. I think all of them have to go back to spawn because of that. That was a really nice ultimate.
Yeah, he's really been, Easy Chaos has really been just on point with these ults all game long. When we see a very aggressive charge coming out from 1314, gets stunned up by Fappy, eats the Nightmare as well. Ice Vortex comes out, blink in by Rabbit, doing a lot of damage. Big jump by Wildman, silences up the Bane, gets that kill. Meanwhile, 1314 going to town on Beezy Chaos, brings him down. Fappy man-moding up on the Tidehunter, gets crushed out again by Rabbit. Amp damage comes up, wards go down again, Shackle comes out. That's 1 life down.
Yeah, what abilities they have to stun him? They need to save stun.
2 lives down, sorry, so Fappy's gonna arm the toggle, keep himself up now, goes down, there's the 2nd life, ticks out. Does Radiant even have anything to take him down? Shadow Shaman's out of mana, Orchid comes out, Electric Vortex, more stuns coming out from the Slardar and the Spirit Breaker. Tinker comes in on the backside, gets the zap, Jack comes in, Songs, pops his illusions, gonna be a big Riptide coming out maybe? Jack's nearly gonna kill 1314, gonna have to retreat himself, he's already very low. Tinker cleans up the Shadow Shaman, Spirit Breaker hiding in the edge, Rabbit sprinting away.
Wow, that was a really amazing fight from the Radiant team.
I think 1314 may go down yet.
Oh wow.
3 down.
There we go, Dagon out from the Tinker. Oh, Storm Spirit jumps back in, Orchid's up the Tinker. Doesn't have a whole lot of mana. Rabbit shows up, oh, big amp damage, and Tinker goes down
If you
again.
think to harness nature's power, you've got another thing coming.
These are monstrous kills for the Radiant team, although they do trade the Spirit Breaker in that one. He was able to buy out, so probably not losing too much gold.
You can see a Blink Dagger up on this Bane now, just having a great time up on this cliff.
Yeah, he needs BKB a lot more than he needs Blink this game, just because of all the different stuns that are coming out. And because BKB would mean a lot more health to tank Shadow Shaman wards. Those wards did their job. That last fight, they were just constantly hitting things, and they're the only reason that Wraith King was taken down.
Yeah, I was initially thinking I wasn't too big on the decision to pop those wards in the jungle, but given just how much damage it took to bring that Wraith King down 3 times, I think it was the wise choice.
Yeah, and it looks like the Wraith King is gonna build into a Maelstrom. I actually don't really like that build.
Yeah, I tend to think of Maelstrom as being much more of a split push sort of item, and Fappy mostly has not been split pushing. He's got Naga and Tinker holding down the fort on that front.
Right, exactly. I think that it's a lot better if you're just trying to solo push a lane, trying to farm faster. What I would really like to see... Oh, Shadow... Stormspirit jumps in, but he gets gripped top, and they're able to just go to town on him. That's 1,000 golds to the Tinker. It's a really disastrous jump by the Storm Spirit. He got way too aggressive and wasn't expecting this Catterday yet, the Bane, to start reacting to his ganks.
And we can
At
see...
the same time, Ancient Apparition gets his ultimate.
Oh, that's huge. That 17-second duration on the Ice Blast is going to be huge.
Yeah, that's a ton of damage and a ton of health. Or healing mitigated, which is another really important kind of damage most people don't consider.
Yeah, and we can see top lane is already pushing in again. Naga got bottom lane to the tier 3 just a moment ago. Radiant can get picks, they can get some of these fights, but they just can't get the creeps away from their base.
Yeah, and other than the Shadow Shaman, they didn't pick any heroes that are good at pushing waves. So it's definitely a weakness of their draft, and it's why I think they needed a stronger mid-game, more ganks, in order to actually win.
You can see a lot of effort coming out just to pick off an illusion down there. Well, Azur's going to try to hold off these creeps, and we can see Storm Spirit TPing in. Both teams just kind of resetting, farming up. Jack's gone back to his own jungle where he's got a heart recipe in his stash, and looks like that's going to be a complete heart coming out to him very soon.
Well, it looks like Storm Spirit's going with a 40-minute Bloodstone, which has a really nice benefit of making it so that he doesn't have to buy out to respawn faster. But that's pretty much the only reason I could think of to go that item at this point in the game.
Yeah, I've got to say, I tend to be of the school that if you're not getting your Bloodstone early, you shouldn't get it at all, because you're just not going to have enough time to build up charges to really make it worth the money.
Yeah, and the late game argument, I heard about that. I might have read about this once or twice. It was just that the amount of time that you're able to save by, you know, just respawning faster is actually worth it in some situations, even though those stacks aren't going to be climbing up. And not to mention, he also makes him relatively tanky. Kind of hard to kill.
Yeah, he definitely needs those added hit points. And here he's going to jump on Fappy, gets the silence. Fappy immediately pops the BKB. Bane blinks in, Fiend's Grip, and immediately blows up that Storm Spirit. And that's going to lose him 3 of those 8 charges.
You did.
Hello?
Yep. You with me?
Yeah, you just cut out a bit. Looks like they find the Shadow Shaman too. That's 2 kills. And with that, the door to the base is open. All 3 lanes are pushing in quite well for the Dire team. And they don't even have their Serpent Wards or their biggest killer on the map. So I think that they should just be 5-manning Arax at this point in the game. It's all but over.
Yeah, I think the only reason why Dire hasn't pushed in already is because Naga's having too much fun seeing how high her net worth can go.
Yeah, I mean, the game I always like to play is see how fast Tinker can farm. Usually,
Off the top tower.
he's the fastest farming hero on the map.
You can see blinking from Rabbit. Jack's just gonna song and they're gonna walk away. Took that tier 3 for nothing but a Song of the Siren.
It's kind of unfortunate. This late in the game with a 25,000 gold lead, you'd really like to see them start getting kills off of abilities like
Radiant's
Song.
mid tower could use a hand.
I've got to say, I'm just reminded of the old style that the Chinese used to play, where once upon a time the school of thought was you don't break the base until you have a 30 gold lead. 30k gold lead, sorry.
Yeah, it was the trifecta. You need a mech, a pipe, and a 30k gold lead. And then that's the formula for base. Right?
Yeah, and I think our gold lead now is just about 30k, so maybe we're just waiting on that mech and pipe.
Looks like it. If only people were building mech and pipe. Now we have much more fun items this game. The Mjolnir gets finished up on this Wraith King. That is pretty fast, actually.
Yeah, that is going to be a lot of damage he can dish out, and with dropping that lightning shield on himself, going to be even more annoying to bring down. 1314 very nearly going to catch an ice blast, but he's going to survive.
Oh yeah, what a devastating combo, right? The Radiance Illusions combined with Ancient Apparition Ultimate.
And here we can see Dire's finally going to go high ground. Fappy sets up, starts beasting down this tower, gets charged up, amp damage comes out, Blink Ravage from Azir. Storm Spirit jumps in, blows up Catterday, blows up Ancient Apparition, Serpent Wards go down, Fappy taking a lot of damage, 1314 going very, very low, goes down himself. They take down the first life, but they're still eating burn damage. Fappy respawns, Tidehunter's going to go down very, very soon. Eats the Wraithfire Blast, Storm Spirit going to work. Rabbit helping out, Wraith King finally goes down again. Tinker starts to TP back, but the TP gets cancelled. Meanwhile, Jack goes in by bottom and takes the tier 3, songs and walks away. It's a TP back by Tinker, gonna go on Rabbit, lasers, rockets, pops the Dagon, eats an amp damage. Storm Spirit gonna jump on him though, doesn't have any mana, does a lot of damage though without amp damage. Huge damage coming out and takes down the Tinker, so that's 4 for 3 and 2 tier 3s.
Yeah, that was really unexpectedly good for the Radiant. I think part of it is that this Tinker built conflicting items. He spent some time getting that BKB instead of leveling up Dagon. And when you leave Dagon at level 1, it tends not to scale 40 minutes in the game. Additionally, he doesn't have a Hex yet or a Soul Ring. Both are items that are known to give you good mana efficiency. And Hex also just being part of the late game items that you build as Tinker. So I think that the itemization is actually slowing down the Dire team a lot. Especially this Tinker. I mean, he could be doing so much more. Grip comes out on this Shadow Shot.
Yeah, I've got to agree about the Tinker. He really just hasn't built any items to try to get that bigger mana pool, and we'll see as he spawns up here. Yeah, he's only got 1,118 in his mana pool, which is not really enough to support all of the rearms that you need for an engagement.
Yeah, I mean, level 3 rearm is something that you don't have to level up, just because that extra second is not always worth the massive amount of mana that it takes to sustain it.
I'm over here!
And now we can see Fappy and Chaos going in for another Roshan. Gonna get another Aegis up on that Wraith King, give him another 3 life round.
If he had the space, he should get... No, he doesn't have the space, but if he did, having the Aegis and the cheese might be one of the best things to do for this Wraith King. This is the pure amount of HP he has.
The die took down old
Yeah, it looks like Bane's gonna take the cheese. And sure enough,
Yeah, that's definitely...
BZ Chaos, having finished up his Ags, is gonna go back in for a mech, which is gonna be coming out pretty soon.
Pretty late mech. Especially after... I mean, mech after Hearts isn't really...
Yeah, I'm not really certain I agree with the 45-minute mechanism.
Yeah, it just doesn't even do as much as even a pipe right now.
Meanwhile, we see JT's picked up a Ghost Scepter for himself, try to mitigate some of that right-click damage coming out. Fappy's gonna go to town on the bottom racks. He's got almost his whole team behind him. Eats an amp damage, has that static shield up. Radiant, looks like we might finally have our climactic team fight. Spearbreaker charges into BZ Chaos, does a lot of damage, pops his BKB, Silence comes out on Bane, Big Ravage comes out, catches 2, Fappy, BKB is up, goes to town, wards come down, Dagon onto Storm Spirit. Wraith King goes down the first time, 1-3-1-4, gets netted up, eating a lot of damage. Noggin, Wraith King pick him off, Tidehunter goes down, just not enough. And now Dire's chasing all the way back to Fountain, where Rabbit and Wildman are very deep in it. And Wraith King's gonna finish taking that Rex, and I think this is gonna be our GG.
Radiant's bottom racks.
Yeah, it looks like he just wants he just wants to end the game.
Radiant's bottom racks.
Fappy's somewhat
No longer with us.
what is it, perturbed by the Tidehunter apparently?
Yeah, getting a little saucy there.
Looking for me?
Crush comes out onto Jack, silenced up by the Storm Spirit. Vortex comes out. They're eating a lot of burn damage while this goes on, and Fap is going to run in. Lord Wildman goes down to the Naga burn.
A little help.
Fappy sticks around past the song. Very strange decision. Gonna blow that reincarnation. Hexed up Rabbit doing what he can against Fappy, who's gonna pop BKB, immediately gets bashed. Tinker comes in, rockets, lasers, Rabbit pops his own BKB to walk away. 1314 comes in, pops his BKB, goes to work on Fappy. Rabbit comes back in, amp damage, killed that Wraith King a second time. Meanwhile, March of the Machine comes in over the top. Azure comes in, trying to do what he can. Lord Wildman on the backside, trying to do something about this Tinker. Immediately goes over the Ancient Apparition once the Tinker pops his BKB. Tidehunter goes down, so does Ancient Apparition. Storm Spirit blinks back away, but Bane is now in with a Necro Buck. And we can see Wraith King still up on his last life, gonna have Reincarnation up again in 15 seconds, and that's another Rex.
There goes the Radiant.
Stuns up the Slardar, goes to work on him, doing a ton of damage. Tinker comes in, blinks in, pops his rockets, and down goes the Slardar. That's 4 heroes down for the Radiant, and looks like finally gonna get some Mega Creeps up for the Dire.
The Radiant's top Rex is gone now.
Buyback comes out from the Storm Spirit. Looks like we lost Vic a moment ago. Acelight's gonna get a Hex off on the Naga Siren, gonna Yule's up that Tinker, but it's not going to be enough. Immediately gets blown up by the Wraith King, and this is definitely our game here.
Yep, that's game. You didn't lose me, I was just
coming apart.
deluged. Action, they call it GG.
What Radiant's mid towers and
Alright, and that...
I think what this game came down to
Is this it?
was that looks like they're having some fun actually right here before the Ancient goes down.
Yep. Let's see if they can bring the Wraith King pops the cheese and just walks away.
Where's the party?
Looks like they're gonna take down this Tinker too. Even through a Ghost Scepter and a BKB. It's kind of absurd.
Dire buildings.
There's just too much creepage right now.
Done it again.
And that's our game.
Yeah, so what I think happened was actually this game, despite the scoreline 40-30, kill-wise, it was actually pretty even until that last bit there. And it was a really good example of, I guess, just people with higher ability being able to get more out of lanes. So what you saw was just 10 minutes and then 15 and then 20 minutes into the game, the 3 cores and the Dire just completely outscaled and out-CS'd the Radiant hero. They're able to turn that item advantage into the game.
And it looks like our gold graph has gone flat, but almost a 50k gold lead up on Happy Men by the end of that. And that was really just the victory of the split push. We can't see now, but I don't think Planet Hype ever took a single tower in that match.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think every single Shadow Shaman ultimate was a defensive one, and it's just kind of impossible to win with, you know?
Sure enough, tonight really has been the game of push versus lack of counter push, and I think that's going to wrap us up for tonight. Do you have any closing thoughts as we go out, Vic, or are you good to go?
Definitely not, and I'm not going to be here next week, so I look forward to week 7 and casting again.
Alright, so we'll be missing Vic next week, but I'll still be here for you, dear listeners, doing what I can, solo though I will be. And for tonight, thank you all for tuning in. This has been So Many Robots with Vic, casting Dota Battles Season 1, Week 5. Thank you all for joining in, and have a good night.